Hi there, Kelly Thorenson here again from the Soul Nurture Project. And today I'm going to share with you mindful eating. Some people look as a way to sort of get into that meditative space while you're doing an action. I will also add that this has been found over time. It's not going to happen after the first time, but over time, mindful eating practices can really help with how one engages with food. And I'm not going to say it's going to get rid of eating disorders, but it certainly can help with how you relate to food. I noticed after I learned mindful eating and had really engaged a lot of mindfulness and meditative practices in my life that I actually found myself craving less, really just savoring my food more, and and I developed a better relationship with food. Now, and this is certainly, it's everybody's choice. This is certainly not something I'm saying you ought to be doing, but now I have a relationship with food where I bless it before I eat it. I recognize the nutrition it's bringing to my body, as well as I recognize how it got to be in front of me. So recognizing the producers and how it came, if it was shipped, etc., and so forth, and all the people involved to get, say, a little clementine in front of myself. And I also have a raisin. So that's my little introduction to mindful eating. And this is just a great meditative practice to help, again, clear your mind and experience something different than the busyness in the mind. I have a raisin here too, because actually when I first learned this practice years ago, probably 15 years ago, it was taught to me with a raisin. So I just wanted to say, this can be done with a raisin. I prefer doing it with clementines or tangerines because it's such an amazing experience that way. So I'm going to put the raisin aside, but keep in mind you can apply this to any food or actually anything in a way. So let's start. So this is not necessarily breathing, though of course you always want to be mindful of your breathing and just how the air enters your body, how it leaves your body, where it travels to. The more you can do that, the more deep your breath will become, and the more more easy it will be to be present in your day-to-day life. And certainly creativity and engaging in the arts, I find really helps, because once you dive into and you get into that flow, it is much easier to stay in that space. So, excuse me, mindful eating practice. Wow, I've talked that long already. Here we have your orange. So when you get your orange, what you want to do is you want to feel your orange. You'll get to know your orange. You can name it if you want, but you will still eat it. So, notice the texture, notice the colors, its weight, if there's any blemishes, and just really get to know like how it feels. And just up close, what is it like? And noticing like darkness to lightness, where the stem was, where the base is. As I said, blemishes. How there's like, it's not completely smooth, even though sometimes we think they are. That there's like bumps where the segments are, if you look closely. So you can do this for a while, and you can slow it down even slower than what I'm going to be doing this. Next you want to do is like, you can smell your orange. Notice its temperature. Mine was in the fridge, so it's a bit cool. How does it feel tactile? And when you feel like you've gotten to know your object or your orange, clementine, well enough, then I'm going to say, you're going to break into it, but you want to do this ever so slowly. And what you want to do is as you break into it, what does that feel like when you first puncture the peel of the clementine? Is there any smells that go with that? How does that feel? Was there a little squirt of juice that came with it? Do you start to smell the clementine? And then how does it feel to touch the peel? And what is the peel like when you try and pull it back? And if you slowly feel, and what sounds do you hear? I don't know if you can hear that. So you want to just take in every little piece and notice how it feels, the smells, the textures. See, this is a little more pull. And then once you start pulling, and then there's a little more ease, and noticing those differences, noticing how it feels, noticing the sounds as the peel rips, noticing the juice on your fingers, the smell of the orange. Again, what does it sound like when you rip a little more? The feel of it, the smells, texture, the sounds. And again, mindfully do all this piece by piece, all the while noticing your breath, noticing the sounds as the peel separates from the orange segments. And then I like to pop mine off and do like a whole piece. That's always one of my little playful challenges for myself. I am very particular about my oranges, so I like to take off all my little segment pieces. I forget what those are called right now in the moment. So what does it feel like when you just take off these little extra bits? What do those little extra bits feel like? How do they come off? Are there any other smells you notice? Is there anything that you feel in the segments? So when you feel like your orange is where you want it to be, and is there extra juice coming on your fingers as you do this? Then what I do is I notice, what does it feel like to break apart the orange? And what sounds go with that? And what texture? How did it feel? How did it feel to move those segments? And then as we go, I'm going to get us down to one segment. Of course, you will do this for the whole orange. You might hear my doggie came down and she's making her little noises in the background. So when you have your segment, and notice how it smells, how the segment feels, touch of the orange segment skin, and notice how that is. So now we're going to do the same as it enters your mouth. And you're going to pay attention to all of it as it goes down. So when you bite into it, you're going to notice, like, how does it feel that first bite? What is the textures? Is there juice that squirts out? How is the flavor? Are there any additional smells? What is the tactile in your mouth? And then really, really slowly chew your orange. So you want to chew it, so noticing like each movement of your jaw down, how does that orange segment feel in your mouth as you do this? And then you keep doing that, like chewing. It's kind of like what you'd normally chew, only in slow motion. And really just noticing, again, the texture, the taste, the consistency, what is happening to the segment? How does it now feel in your mouth with each bite down on it? So you want to slow it down. And then when you get to the point of saying, okay, this is chewed down enough, masticated enough, that I'm going to swallow it. Also, I want you to pay attention to how does it feel to swallow that orange segment. What does it feel like as it goes to swallow and goes down your throat and esophagus? And where does it travel to? Do you notice it moving downwards? Do you notice it moving into your stomach? What does it feel like when it's settled there? And then allow yourself to do the same with the next segment. Again, noticing what it's like to break it apart, how it feels, what parts of it come apart, what holds together, what do you do to it to make sure that's like how you like to eat it. Again, really, really slowly. And you continue to do this. And put it in your mouth in the same way as you did with the first one. Chew it the same way, noticing the juice, the texture, how it breaks down. What does it feel like to swallow it? Where does it land in your body? And continue doing this for your whole orange or clementine. Or if you do a raisin, you could do it with a single raisin as well. So I hope you enjoy eating your food this way. I'm really curious to find out, what did you try this activity with? And what did you notice as the outcome? I know there's certain things that I hear from participants, clients, other people I've done this practice with. And usually the outcome is pretty similar, but I don't want to give it away. But I'm very curious to hear, like, what did you experience in engaging eating a clementine or another thing, even a raisin, like that?